where most of your business is hiding and why your best clients may never call you again unless you fix this one thing. We have this illusion of loyalty, so past service does not equal future business. They reach out to the agents who are recent in their memory, relevant in their life, or trusted in their gut. Why most realtors fail at retention? Few follow up after closing.
Welcome to Signature Buzz, your fast-paced weekly real estate sales meeting.
This is session 3 of 4 of Cultivating Relationships. The point I've been trying to drive home in weeks 1 and 2 is that cultivating relationships goes beyond just your CRM. CRM is simply a tool to facilitate your ability to cultivate relationship. It doesn't do it for you. You can't automate a relationship. It's about building trust, not tactical touch points. Cultivating relationship is not a task that you're checking off. It's knowing the client beyond the transaction. And again, this is job 1 in real estate, and that's cultivating a relationship. When you don't talk to somebody for a long period of time, you're basically out of flow, which means you're not top of mind or you're not top of heart. So they could pick up another realtor or anyone else. A lot of times they know multiple people that sell real estate. And so it's whoever they're in connection with or in flow with at the time they decide to make their move. And there's a period of time. Part of the issue is the fact that how long it takes between when somebody buys something to when they sell again. But it's a long period of time for that. But when they decide to actually sell, they make a decision very quickly on their realtor and moving forward. So there's a process to get to that point, but when they do, it's there. And if you're not in flow or you're not in connection with them, then it's probably going to be somebody else. So I'll tell you the truth up front, real estate is not a contact sport. It's a connection sport. And if you're not actively in flow, someone else is. So if you're not actively engaging with your people, someone else is. And today is about showing you what abundance actually looks like, where most of your business is hiding and why your best clients may never call you again unless you fix this one thing. So let's get into it. We have this illusion of loyalty. So past service does not equal future business. Just because you help them buy or sell a house does not guarantee that you're going to be able to help them in the next transaction. So let me ask you something real. How many of you have crushed a deal, done everything right, and never heard from the client again? Right? We take it personal, but we shouldn't. And here's what the data says. So NAR research says that 84% of sellers and 88% of buyers say they'd work with their agent again. But only 25% of sellers and only 12% of buyers actually do. And why is this? It's because the transaction cycle is long. It can be years, but the selection cycle is fast, usually about 72 hours. People don't choose the best agent, they choose the one that's present when they're ready to act. And what it kind of looks like is this. There's something that triggers the point where you're going to want to move, right? Or you're going to want to buy a house, or you want to buy a car or anything else. And then you start to kind of look. And then your reticular activator, you start to notice the cars, or you start to notice the houses, or you start to notice people that are buying and selling houses. So it starts to fester. So you've kind of planted that seed. And that can take months, or it could take some time before you move to the point where you want to do it. But when you decide to do it, you're going to do it, right? And so if the agent isn't in front of them, or they don't have a connection with you, or you're not in flow, they're going to walk into an open house and they're going to pick somebody up. Or they're going to get a call from somebody, or they're going to go with somebody they know from work, or a referral from someone else. So it doesn't matter if you helped them or not. If you're not in flow with them, they're moving on. So unless we're in flow, we're going to be replaced by whoever they saw last. Could be somebody off Instagram, social media, or anywhere. There are 30 deals sitting in your phone right now, at least. So let's zoom out. In Ninja Sales, he breaks down some numbers, and he says that 11 to 14% of U.S. households move each year. And that data comes from the IRS, right? And so he says there's 120 million households, which equals 6 million sales, or 12 million sides, because there's usually a buyer and a seller, so to speak. There are 2 million agents, which there's less than that now, but if we use that 2 million, that basically breaks down to 6 deals per year on average per agent. And it's pretty close to what the national average is, what NAR states the national average of transactions that an agent does. So here's the kicker, though. If you know 200 owners that own property, which all of you probably do, that breaks down percentage-wise to 30 deals per year. So that's not internet leads, that's not farming, that's not cold calling. It's just your existing network. So how many of you are closing 30 or more transactions a year? Right? And so it means that we have access to this business, but we're not engaging it most likely. So most of us are closing 6 or fewer or just above that. That's not a market problem. That's a flow problem. Okay. That's a connection problem on our side. So how many owner-occupied homes or owners do you think are in your database right now? I mean, you can look in your CRM, look in your phone. Think about how many people are in your phone right now that own a home. Yeah. Then the question is, how does that compare to your actual closings now? It's significantly higher than what we're closing now. And it's because we're just not in flow with them. We're not working that. So cold leads are expensive and relationships convert. Okay. If you're buying leads, you're spending money on these consumer portals like Zillow or Realtor.com or those types of things that cost money. Most of you are trying to work harder when what you really need to do is work smarter. So here's some of the industry numbers of some of the stuff that we chase or that we work. One is internet leads. Does anyone have an idea what the ratio is of how many internet leads you have to get before you have a closing? In Ninja Sales, he says it's 1 in 1,600, and that might be high. But even if you think, cut that in half, 1 in 800, right? That's a significant amount of money that you've got to spend to bring those leads and time chasing them with no guaranteed results. Direct mail, he's got down, it's 1 in 2,000. So every 2,000 pieces you send out, likely to get a lead. Okay. And that can get expensive as well. And he said cold calls, 1 in 500. And so my numbers that I always taught in the academy was out of every 100 contacts, cold calls, 100 that you got through the entire script with, that you qualified. At the end of the conversation, you knew they were moving or not moving, that it was 100. If you talk to 20 a day, basically a week, you could get a listing a week, right? But 500 is realistic because how many do you think you really get through the entire script with? They hang up with you, all kinds of stuff. So that's a big time commitment, right? Don't necessarily have to pay for those numbers, but you've got to pay for time to do it. And then he's got down here, door knocking is 1 in 100. Okay. Door knocking can be effective. It's an effective thing. It's more effective than cold calls because you're face to face, and the power of face to face is real, right? Personal calls, and this is where it starts to get good. Personal calls, 1 in 25. Friends, 1 in 50. Past buyers, 1 in 9. Past sellers, 1 in 4. Referrals, 2 out of every 4. Like you can see that relationships and the connections, your ratios are a lot better. I mean, what does that mean to you? It means more time, right? And you're working with people that know, like, and trust you. So tell me, where are you spending most of your time? Like, think about that. Are you investing your time where conversation or conversion is the highest? Or are you chasing? Are you spending it where resistance is the lowest? What's one lead generation tactic you've been focusing on that falls into high effort, low return category? Okay, you don't need more leads, you need more flow. You win or lose business before you even know you're being considered. When someone decides to move, they don't send out an RFP, and that's like a request for proposal. They don't hold auditions. They're not calling everybody that they know and saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about moving. Come interview for the job." They reach out to the agent or the agents who are recent in their memory, relevant in their life, or trusted in their gut. And that decision happens in about 72 hours from the time they decide to actually make the move. And if you're not top of mind in that moment, you're not in the running. You're not a secret agent. You're not a secret agent. Show up like the pro you are. There's 4 layers to a referral driven brand. First one is know. They got to know you. The visibility, do they remember you? And do they remember you're in real estate? They have to like you. Positivity, do they enjoy hearing from you? Trust. Do they believe you have competence, character, consistency, and capacity? And flow. Are you consistently providing value? Now, let's talk about that for a minute. What is value? Like in flow, what kind of things can you do to deliver value? When you send them an email, is this email about how great you are, or is there value in that email? And when I say value, does it make them feel good? Does it have a positive vibe, or is it just about a sales tactic? Right? When you post on social media, is it about me, and how great I am, and I just sold another house? Or is it something that's truly engaging? Right? Because the idea behind flow is the engagement. Jenny, you posted that video on Instagram, which was perfect because that is exactly what I'm talking about here in the way of how it made people feel, right? Which caused them to do what? Engage. It's not about likes on a page. It's about the comments. It's about the conversations that you can take back offline. It's not about the email you sent them. It's, do they respond to it? Is there value to it? Are they thanking you for it? It's not a checklist driven thing. It's not, hey, I got to get my 2 social media posts this week. Like, it's not about hiring a company that automatically posts things on social media. Like, it's generally got to be you. There's got to be some thought process behind it. And when you think about it, like we teach in all the coaching, we teach tactical empathy, and it's about them being heard and them speaking first and not speaking less, right? But when you're sending out flow or engagement stuff, it's not about them speaking first because they don't have the opportunity to, right? You're speaking first, you're sending something, but it's got to be something that creates the ability for them to have common ground with you, right? When they have common ground with you or something in common, they're more likely to engage. If they engage, now you can have a conversation. And so think about that. Think about the last things you've sent out to your database or the last social media post. Did it qualify in that regard? And when we look at it too, people do business with people they trust, right? And what builds trust is either being able to work with them or to be able to communicate with them through tactical empathy and for them to be heard, or if they see other people engaging with you or they see other people doing business with you, right? That causes people to gain trust as well. It's not about you posting, I sold a home in a week or I sold a home in 24 hours. Think about it. Think about the testimonials. Like when you go buy something on Amazon, do you look at how many ratings it has? And if you're looking at two different products and one has more ratings and higher reviews, you're probably more likely to buy that product. Right? And why? Because the perceived perception from other people are buying it, it must be okay. Must be good. And another example is this. You stay in a hotel, right? And um, they have a thing that basically they want you to recycle the towel, right? Hang the towel up, you throw it on the floor, they're going to take it and clean it. You hang it up, you get to reuse it. Most people don't reuse the towel. But if the hotel said 98% of all the people that stay here reuse the towels, you're more likely to reuse the towel because everyone's doing it. And so about creating the engagement and that kind of stuff, that leads people down that path, right? If people are talking to you and people are thanking you and you're telling stories about your clients and how the transaction was for them, not about you, about them, those are the things that are going to cause more engagement. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the ninja system works because it focuses on these four things, right? Which is the know, the like, the trust, and the flow. It's not just calls, it's not just notes, it's not just pop-bys. It's a system of value-driven human contact. Every touch must solve a problem or make them feel good or make them feel seen. That's flow, and that's your number one job, is to get into flow. So I want you to write down 5 people you like who own homes who haven't heard from you in the last 60 plus days.
In 60 days?
60 plus days. You haven't talked to me in a few months. It could be 10 years. It could be 5 years. It could be 61 days. It could be 90 days. 5 people that own homes that are in your phone or your CRM. Now I want you to circle one of them. Now I want you to pick up your phone and I want you to text that person right now. And this is what I want you to say. Hey, I was thinking about you. Hope everything is good with the house. That's it. That's flow. It's just engagement. Now, who had anxiety when I asked you to do that? All right, so let's talk about veterans in the business and rookies in the business. Who has the edge? Someone brand new getting into the business or somebody that's been in the business a long time? Your pipeline is only as strong as your last touch. So veterans, they think your past clients will come back to them just because you crushed the deal or that you helped them, right? You've been in the business a long time. And rookies, they think they're behind because they're new. And you're both wrong because past performance doesn't win repeat business. Presence does. If your business is slow right now, don't panic. Don't reinvent. Don't launch a campaign. Don't chase the next shiny object. Just start a flow recovery plan. And this is similar to what T said, the 5x5. Call 5 people per day. Write 2 handwritten notes per day. DM 3 people you genuinely like. Host 1 face-to-face interaction per week. Okay, she stepped it up. I think she's doing 5 calls, 5 written notes, 5 DMs. But all you got to do is the consistency of launching that back into it. Do that for 30 days, and you will not even recognize your pipeline. I'll tell you a story. When I got in the business, I came from the restaurant business. One of the first things I did is I did a drawing for baseball tickets in Salt Lake, and all my customers came in and they entered. So I got their name, their email address, their address, and their phone number, right? Served these people for 6+ years while I ran that deli. It was a captive audience. It was inside of an office building, so it was almost like their lunchroom. So I knew these people. So I had the connection with them, right? And so one of the things I did is I put them on a drip campaign. There was a thing that my company offered that was called Zap. And it was just really nice mailings. It went out 12 of them a year, one a month. And all I had to do is they put it on my agent account and I just paid the bill. Right. And these nice things went out. And then I met a lady, older lady that had moved to Salt Lake from Arizona. And she taught me basically the Brian Buffini method. We went to a Brian Buffini seminar, went through the stuff, and so we started sending things out. And it was more personal stuff. I bought the book Chicken Soup for the Soul, and sometimes we just print up one of the poems or whatever out of it, and we'd send that out. We'd send out an Irish blessing around St. Patrick's Day. We just stuff, right? Nothing was really geared around real estate. And it took about, 8 to 10 months. And this is not even calling them. This is just mailing them stuff. 8 to 10 months and my phone started ringing regularly, right? Years later, I opened a brokerage with a business partner. He'd moved to Salt Lake from Pennsylvania. And he was always prospecting. He was always looking for the stuff. Mike Ferry all the way. And my phone would ring. And I was doing business. He goes, "You're lucky if you're from here." Right? People call you because you're from here. He missed it. It wasn't because I was from Salt Lake. It wasn't because I grew up there. If it was, everybody would be successful that lives in an area. It was because I had connected. I'd gotten in flow with these people. Right? And so it's a process. But I'm going to tell you, if you start the process today, you'll reap the benefits in the future. We all want to work with a referral by only business. We all want clients to just call us. And the only way to do that is to cultivate relationships, to connect. It's all about the connections. Everything in life is about the connections. And it took me a long time to figure that out, but everything in life is about the connections. Like we live here in Vegas. Every one of us should be able to pick up the phone and call somebody that has a connection somewhere to get us something. Free show tickets, dinner, reservations, whatever. Like, we're in a town where there are tons of people with lots of connections, and most of us don't even take advantage of it or even talk enough to people to get that. The business is right there in your phone. The business is in your database. And you've just got to get to the point where it's like, to hell with it. I'm going to make the call. What do you got to lose? They're not going to reject you. And if they do, they probably shouldn't be in your database anyway. Right? And so really, just think about reaching out and doing it. And let's talk about the 8 and 8. It's covered in Ninja Sales as well. And this is a great thing. Like, you just put the social media post out, you get some engagement. How do you bring it further? How do you expand upon it, right? What's next? And so he talks about the 8 and 8 marketing strategy, which uses consistent value-driven contact over an 8-week period to build strong professional relationships and top-of-mind awareness. And this comes from a study that was done by Hobbs and Herder. If you don't know who Hobbs and Herder is, they sell marketing stuff. They're a marketing firm, and they surveyed a neighborhood in Southern California. And he talks about this in Ninja Sales. And they asked homeowners which realtor they'd call if they're selling their home. Okay, and after ranking realtors by awareness, the firm mailed valuable content on a weekly 8 weeks of a fictitious realtor. They made one up. Okay, so the realtor that probably got the most feedback that they would be used was probably the one that was farming there, right? So they did an 8-week deal where fictitious realtor. And after the 8 weeks of sending valuable stuff out to the neighborhood, a follow-up survey revealed that the fictitious realtor was the most frequently mentioned realtors, surpassing the real realtors that were originally the favorites. And the conclusion consisted that value-added contact or flow significantly boosts name recognition and top-of-mind awareness. So you can turn anything around if you're willing to put in the 8x8, the 8 weeks. And it's basically this. He also talked about, he met a guy, I think the guy's name was Greg. He was a newcomer to town. He met him at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast. And I know T's going to a lot of chamber events right now. And so he met him there. And then he decides, well, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to do the 8 weeks of contact. And so week 1, he sent him a personal welcome note. Welcome to Fort Collins, Colorado. Okay, just a welcome note. Week number 2, he sent a city map along with a note. Week number 3, he sent a book. It was a high altitude baking book. And the book was authored by his wife. Okay. If you bake at all, altitude affects that, right? And so there's a book that he sent. And then week 4, he sent a local real estate newsletter, the newsletter for his company, right? Week 5, he sent a brochure on local property taxes, explaining how property taxes work in Colorado. Week 6, he sent a summary of home sales in Greg's neighborhood. Remember, this guy just moved there. He sent just kind of a market snapshot of the neighborhood that he'd moved into. Week 7, he made a phone call, resulting in a lunch. And then week 8, he took the guy to lunch to deepen the relationship. Now, the problem with relationship building, right, or cultivating relationships is what? The problem with it is this: there is no guaranteed results. Like, you can spend a lot of time building a relationship and they may never move, right? There may never be an opportunity there, but we're not doing it for the result. The conclusion or the outcome of this was Greg requested help relocating 47 employees to Fort Collins. Greg was a supervisor or someone high up in a company that had just moved to Fort Collins. They were aggressively recruiting other people from their other offices to move to Fort Collins. So he asked him to help with that. He actually took him on the trip to go speak to the employees at the other branch to talk about it. Then when they came out, him and his agents actually toured them around Fort Collins, knowing full well they may or may not move out there, but 43 of them accepted the transfer. So they got to help 43 families make a move to relocate. And the relationship led to further relocation projects, moving over 120 employees in the first year. Like, think about that. Like, he didn't know that was going to happen. He just did this, right? And you just don't know where things are going to take you. And he talks about it in the book. He actually talks about the fact that he asked if he remembered the name of the realtor. And he actually forgot the name of his realtor that sold him the house. And he said, but she works over at this company. And guess what? She didn't work at that company. She never worked at that company. That company was actually the one that had the house listed that he bought. So not only did he not know where she worked, he forgot her name. And she had the same opportunity. She sold this guy a house and never furthered the relationship. She should have been the one helping with the relocation. Right? But it was a transaction for her, and she moved on. So the 8 and 8, I mean, is a powerful tool. And why most realtors fail at retention, few follow up after closing. Most clients forget the realtor's name, their company, within months. They remember they had a good service. They would use them, but they don't remember who they are. They're not in flow. And so, like, as you're reconnecting with these people, think about ways you could do an 8 and 8 with them. What are some of the things that you could send them? to engage them and to get them with an ultimate goal of getting them to lunch. You could do this in a geographical farm. You could do an 8 and 8 in a farm, just like Hobbs and Herder did, and you could turn around and start to dominate a market. So the logistics are this: 6 weekly value-based mailings, not emails, mailings. The 7th week is a phone call. The 8th week is a face-to-face meeting, a lunch, a breakfast, or a coffee. If you got a large database, you're going to have to stagger this so that you can manage with a few contacts per week. Avoid overwhelming yourself with too many simultaneous meetings. But the 8 and 8 system is a proven practical approach to building and maintaining a strong business. So we talk about the 8 and 8, the 5x5, like whatever it is, just implement a system and start to do it consistently. And over time, you'll rewire your brain so this all becomes easier. So opportunity is everywhere. You're not chasing, you're choosing. Strategy matters. Relationships convert higher than anything else. Flow isn't marketing, it's human connection on a schedule. When you're in flow, you don't have to convince people to choose you. You've already earned it. So what's one commitment you're going to make today to step deeper into flow?